the 7 rivals that it's competing with tonight, but just that little bit of a sticky situation in the first 20 metres. If you're taking the shorts, you know, you need to clear that 2-dog who looks like he wants to use the middle part of the track.
And just before Sky Racing 1 join us, Smithy, I mean, you've been around the block here at the Meadows a few times. These big bred maiden series where there's some significant prize money up for grabs from a maiden point of view, it's sort of not the second stage of the series where you see some good ones come out of it, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see warm cockles go around a little bit later, and I'm looking forward to asking Dave Burnett about how he's going. But he won it last year. He won this series last year, and he's the sort of greyhound that gets aimed at a series like this where they show ability early days, and they see these races out months out, and the trainers hold them back, make sure they're ready, make sure they're fit, and get them nice and cherry ripe for these.
The Sky Racing 1 audience joins us for the first time here at the Meadows for week 2 of the Australian Cup Carnival. Of course, tonight's program highlighted by semi-finals of the Australian Cup and also heats of the Fanta Bale Stayers. Some of Australia's superstar greyhounds that go around tonight. And we kick off with a couple of semi-finals for the maidens. And Nathan Rooney, despite a bit of a tricky speed map for the favourite here, Tribeca, on ability, looks pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, Jason, looks clearly the one to beat here. If it can get the box rise right like it did last week, 5:03 the first section, if it can replicate somewhere near that, it should be able to roll to the top, 29.93. The quickest qualifier by far, and it's clearly the on-top selection. I thought Tommy Sparkle, number 6, was the main danger. I thought it's been quite good throughout its career, still yet to break a maiden after 6 starts, but has posted 5 placings, and it was runner-up, beaten a long way to Tribeca last start, so it's certainly a major player here. Number 5 in for third, Hot Nanu, greyhound that was okay on debut, really desperate to get down to the fence. It'll continue to improve with racing. And number 2, Without a Trace. He's a bit of a fly in the ointment for the favourite punters here. He's a greyhound that's got a bit of speed and wanted to get up to the middle part of the track on debut. If he can get in the way of Tribeca, it might cause a bit of an upset, but I think he's got enough ability and he's in a really strong kennel with Peter Prosciutto there. 3, 6, 5 and 2, my numbers. Race number 1 at the Meadows.
And just quickly, Corey Smith, you've been here this afternoon at the Meadows. So the punters out there, what sort of weather conditions have we seen?
Well, it's nice and windy, so it'll be intriguing to see how that plays out, particularly in the early stages of the race. It's coming across the track, so I think they'll be running into a headwind a couple of times over this 500-metre trip.
Getting loaded for the opener for week 2 of Australian Cup Series. Let's get upstairs to the voice of the Australian Cup for 2025, James Vandermark.
So the last one placed in, and they're just about set now for the opener. And right on cue, Jason, a very good evening. They're set for the opener. Often Racing and Tribeca flew the start from box number 3. First favourites across to lead and dashes out by 3 lengths over Hot Nanu, who goes to a clear second, up to third, Take Whatever. And they're by 5 then to Without a Trace. The rest in trouble, West Star Leo, followed by Tommy Sparkle, and then at the end, Gold Class Cool and Osprey Kronos at the tail of the field. But it's all Tribeca, a bit of a young star on the rise. 7 in front from Hot Nanu, who's under pressure. Take Whatever's rolling down the middle, but the favourites a minute in front, Tribeca, and that is a smashing win in back-to-back fashion. Won it supremely well, Tribeca, by 7 to Hot Nanu. There's the eye catcher, Without a Trace, again savaging the line late, will grab third, just overtake Whatever, and then a literal minute away to West Star Leo, Tommy Sparkle, Gold Class Cool and Osprey Kronos. This is a star in the making. 29 and 72 for Tribeca.
A star in the making indeed. Cop that. He broke 30 seconds on debut. We thought, how good was that? And Nathan Rooney, he's not only gone better, he has gone significantly better in his second start. 29.72. Humming
Sections, he backed up what he did on debut. He wanted to get across to the fence, so we get to see that on the head-on. But 5:04, 17.60 up the back, as you mentioned. 29 and 72 on the board, 12.12 as the run-in. He's got speed to burn, Jace. He's got middle section. He's got run home. I can see why they were slightly disappointed with his efforts at Ballarat, only posting 25.5 and 25.44 on the board. He's really relished two-turn racing, hasn't he? He's drawn close to the fence. He's hit the lids. He rails the paint off this Broadmeadows circuit, and he made a statement the first semi-final of this Vic Bred Maiden Series.
What's most impressive about that run to you? Because all 3 sectionals are good, but for a young dog like him, what jumps off the page and you think he's got some superstar qualities in that?
Well, the 5:04. He posted 5:03 last week, Jason. I was impressed by that. I didn't quite see that on his 2 Ballarat horseshoe runs, that natural brilliance, but he's come to the two-turn racing, ran 5:03 last week. Back that up with 5:04 tonight. 1760 up the back. That's a really good section. And then he's running through the line. So he's only continuing to get better, and he's a pup that's got plenty of upside.
And he's just turned 2 as well, so he's got a big future ahead of him, and no shortage from a breeding side of things as well. Aston Rupee is one of the fastest greyhounds we've ever seen, along with Elevated His Dam, who's been a proven producer and very handy on the track herself.
Yeah, he's bred in the purple, so to speak, isn't he? He's quite a well-bred pup. He's a nice size too. He's 35 kilos. He's going to take a little bit of time to develop, which sounds scary when he's running 29.7s already, but he's really desperate for the inside. It's most probably one little hesitation come next week if he draws wide. Both times he's been desperate to get across to the inside, and he was able to cross the inside runners with consummate ease the last 2 weeks. So I'm sure Team Ennis will be hoping for an inside draw next week, but he's doing everything right. He's taking to two-turn Metropolitan racing like a duck to water, and he's one that we can follow closely going forward.
So that intent to get down towards the inside, do you think that's his DNA for as long as his career will go on for? Or is it something as a young dog is quite natural for them, and with more racing they can develop other skill sets to either run a bit of a straighter line or navigate a field a bit more easily? Yeah,
I think with time he'll most probably balance up. He's been able to clear him and get across to the rail where he needs to be. That natural brilliance has allowed him to do so, but when he draws most probably middle to wide and there's a couple of dogs underneath him that he bumps into, he might then learn to balance up and run a little bit straighter and box rides. He's a dog having only his 4th start tonight. He's learning the caper, but he's got plenty of natural upside. He's doing nearly everything right, Jace, so I can't be harsh on him for wanting to get down to the fence. He's still learning his craft to race in a full field, but he's a big 35-kilo animal, as we touched on, and he's pretty keen to get to the fence. So that's his natural racing pattern. Anytime he draws inside, he's right where he wants to be, and if he can hold the front, he can carve time up the back and in the run home. So he's certainly another strong acquisition to the Brooke and Jamie Ennis kennel.
That he is, and shout out as well to Adine Manalitsis, the owner, as well with her husband Harry Manalitsis, who have had some battles over the recent years, so congratulations to them, and hopefully this boy can bring them plenty of joy as his career rolls on. In terms of the performance, Nath, not so much the performance strictly, but the impact the wind is having. It seems to be blowing towards the grandstand, so it's probably not going to have a massive impact on the times we see tonight.
No, I wouldn't think so, not at this stage, but it is quite blustery and it will, circle around and change. It's like the MCG here, you get that bit of a blustering wind, so don't be surprised during the night if it pushes into a headwind at times, but certainly nothing wrong with the track, and even though the conditions aren't brilliant to fast times, we've seen one then race number 1, really set a time standard for the big boys to match and beat.
And as Corey Smith rejoins, it's like the Broadmeadows Doctors has swung in today, Smithy.
It is a bit, mate. It's nice and windy. It was a little bit concerning this morning when I woke up and looked out the window and saw how grim it was out there, and it certainly delivered a little bit of a grim night here at the Meadows, but we're looking forward to it. And when a race like that comes through and Tribeca performs like that, you've got to get nice and excited, given that's arguably the entree for what's to come.
I'm sure there was raps around Nath or Smithy about this boy. Is he did he make a bit of a wave before he started his career that a good one's coming through?
Well, there was some money for him on debut, and he most probably didn't quite live up to market expectations via the clock. He got beaten. He had a decent box draw in the final. I think he drew box 2 there in the maiden final at Ballarat, and he ran second, and he didn't have many excuses. I didn't think he was I thought he might have come here and been a 30-10, 30-20, nice on a Metropolitan dog, but he's posted 29.9, back that up, 10 days later with a 29.7, so continue to get better, understanding what the racing cape is about, and yeah, he's right at the top of echelon moving forward for the next 12 to 18 months.
It's an intriguing one that I mentioned prior to that race, that sometimes trainers hold these dogs off and they give them a few extra trials, a little bit of extra schooling before they bring them to these sort of races. Brooke and Jamie, they've eyed off these races in the past and they didn't. They went to Ballarat. So it's intriguing that they went around 1 turn first with him, because judging by what we've seen on the track, on racetrack appearances right now, 2 turns is his go.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's,